You are listening to the Milan Weekly Podcast, the English voice of Radio Rossonera and Milan fans all over the world.
Sensational from him. Rafael Leao produces a moment of utter magic.
Teo Hernandez al volo! Teo Hernandez! Ancora lui! Una meraviglia! Ibrahimovic! Zlatan Ibrahimovic! Fuori classe assoluto!
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back, Stevie P, and Happy New Year to everybody. Stevie P, we have a comment from France there before saying it was too late for him. He's going to watch us tomorrow. Welcome back. How are you?
Very good. Very good.
So I took a couple of weeks off, took care of business. Not the same without you, obviously, but
To be very honest, Joe, I unplugged from everything. No social media, no YouTube. I didn't even watch the show with Francis.
That's fantastic. And like we like to start off, and let's start it off, shall we? Because we have no time to waste, Stevie P, right? And do we tell him who's in the background?
Oh, let's go.
Cari amici sportivi, welcome yet to another edition of the Milan Weekly Podcast. Here we talk everything Milan from a capolista Milan, where red cards and penalty are floating Milan, and we're not professionals.
Nor do you pretend to be.
Guys, welcome back. I was saying to Stevie P, we got a lot of things to go through, and let's start off with some housekeeping stuff. So, Steve, you were saying that you did not watch with Francis, but let me tell you, not a lot of people were very happy with Francis, and some people on YouTube were commenting like, bring him back. But Francis is a heel. He just likes to poke buttons and push the buttons. And I know he sent us a question there, but I appreciate it because it just brought me back to the good old days of Red Card Weekly. Maybe we should have another special.
And to his defense, there, I do speak with Francis a lot. He is a friend. Yes, he's Interista, but guys, sometimes you have to just take off the red and the black glasses and listen, because guys like that really they are for the show, but they do have some very, very, very good points and intellectual points that sometimes with the red and black glasses it's hard to see. So I'll give him credit just at the beginning of the show, but it won't last very long. And I'm pretty sure he pissed off a couple of people, because we're Milanista and we piss off a couple of people. And yes, I have absolutely no problem with that. You can send in your comments, you can send in your tweets. To be very honest, you guys, I could not care less if you make fun of my appearance, my hairstyle, my beard, my attire for the night. Honestly, guys, I'm really all worried. It doesn't bother me one bit, because that's my perspective and my opinion. And, we do this week in and week out to give you the truth, not a fluff version or a very, hey, we're all Milan all the time, because you're not going to get that here. So it's better in 2021, we'd be very honest with ourselves, and I will fight back and I answer back all the comments. So.
And that was my whole point. When you were not on, I kind of said a little piece about, the haters of Stevie P. And I just said, I'm like, you know what? Again, you guys are acting like we're professionals. We're not professionals. We're just two guys, that like to have their own opinions, argue sometimes. And in the end, right, it's an opinion. And in the end, it's not like Steve is saying the gospel of, no, this is the way it was. And it's like, it's an opinion. And I know, Steve, you got broad shoulders. You can take it. But in the end,
I will never take this personally, to be very honest with you. I don't get paid enough to take it personally, to be very honest with you. And again, if you have a good opinion and you can convince me otherwise, I will be the first to say, you know what, I'm wrong and you're right. But till today, we're going to talk about it. All our Real friends, Real friends and all our Tonali friends. Let's talk about it. Oh, it's going to be so fun today.
Hello to Kim, watching us from Australia, Steve.
Kim.
We are definitely international. Is it? And he would like to know, President David, is that a Milan Club Philly scarf that he hints there on your...
But of course, we have housekeeping duties that we have to do. It was the week of Dave.
The week of Dave, Milanismo, because of the Philadelphia Eagles that they heard that they lost. Just because he was on Milanismo Worldwide.
No, The week of Dave, it was his birthday.
It was his birthday.
It was his whole week. So I have, Dave here for that, and I have our friends in Dublin, the original hoodie. Love
Beautiful.
this thing. So comfortable. Hugs my
Beautiful.
nipples nice and tight.
And on another thing for housekeeping, Steve, I just wanted to share. I know you put it there on the ticker. Yeah, as you guys know, in Croatia, right, some hurt kicks that were hit, and our brothers there, Milan Club and Milanistra, did basically a food drive, right, and thanking the firemen, the volunteer firemen, and saying the message that they're gonna make sure that it goes into the proper hands. So chapeau, as we would say here in Quebec, to our brothers there in Croatia. So keep up the good work, guys, and sending you plenty of positive vibes from across the pond. Very nice things that nice to see, right, Steve? All these different Milan clubs.
It's something, and they're a fantastic club that uses their reach for the right reasons. And this, any other reasons, and I'm pretty sure I don't know the exact geography of those earthquakes where they were exactly in Croatia, but just to do something like this to raise some food and money and anything that could help these poor people, because it's that time, right? We went through a really pretty shitty 2020, and 2021 to start like this for those poor people, your New Year's resolution is out the drain, right? So down the drain, and you got to start dealing with an earthquake, right? So
it's great to see, and for giving back. So kudos to them. And Steve, I don't have anything else other than I'm starting my no beer January. Gio said he was going to try to do the same thing, but then he posted a beer on Sunday after the game. So I don't know if, but yeah, no beers, Steve, no beers whatsoever. But any resolutions on yours?
No, I don't believe in New Year's resolutions, to be very honest with you, because I take it one day at a time and 1 year at a time, and that's it.
All right, so let's talk. Milan's game, Mr. Steve, against the Super Pippo's team, Benevento, yesterday, 12 o'clock. I had a nice little chat with Colin and Gio. Patreon, it just seems it's always the same guys that want to come on into the Patreon, but it's been 2 weeks in a row that I was saying I think the guy that's going to surprise everybody was Leao, but let's get into the game itself. Not the prettiest of 3 points, right? And I wanted to talk to you about this penalty. And I loved what you said in the chat to Presidente, because we always come back to that, right? And say, but let's put it the other way around, right? If Milan was in that position and what happened to us, what would we have done? And Steve, that penalty on Rebic was like, I'm sorry, that's completely very, very, very dubious penalty, if you ask me. I didn't feel like he had a clear chance on goal. A foul, yes, but at the end, you have to call something. Was he just stuck calling something, or was this what he's supposed to do?
I have no idea, and I'm going to repeat what I said to Presidente in that thing. The whole week, once I got back and once I knew I was coming on tonight, we started to go back on social media, and we have all the smart comments, weak penalty. And guys, you have a comment, go to right to the refs. The refs need to be accountable for these things, not Milan. Milan, everybody say, but the penalty, the first tackle, Diaz on the Benevento player, that should have been a penalty. Wasn't called. Didn't go to VAR. Okay, I agree, but what the fuck do you want my Milan to do? It's not them who's gonna call the penalty shot. It's the ref. Hold them accountable for that. Then you have the penalty on Rebic. I'm the first one to say, weak penalty. If you're going to start calling those penalties, get ready for 10-5 games, 10-7 games, because there's a dime a dozen for those, because there's no it's incidental contact. It just happened. What do you want to call? You want to call something? Call an indirect free kick.
That's what Frank was doing. Yeah. Back. When was the last time? He even said very rare. When was the last time, Steve, you saw an indirect free kick in the box?
I think the player passing the ball back to the goalkeeper. That's the only reason, and they're in the box. That's the only reason that I've seen that as an indirect free kick. I don't know if it exists any other. There's any other rule in today's game that merits an indirect kick, but maybe they should look at something like that, because it will still be a chance. You have to make something of it, but you penalize Benevento with the penalty shot, and Kessie steps up and Kessie scores. But that's just too bad. Again, complain to the refs. Don't complain to Milan.
That's the way it goes. And then you know what I hate about these kind of situations, Steve, is that the other penalty given the other way, it just, when you get these kind of penalties, it just, you have to go think of, well, he's leveling it out. He's leveling it out.
No. When I hear that just boils my blood pressure. Look, I just got a Fitbit. It counts my step and my heart rate. As soon as you said that, my heart went crazy.
Was it not a weak penalty on the other side as well?
It was weak. Go look at it at least.
I did.
No, not you. I'm saying the refs. Go look at it and see if what you saw is actually true. Because they showed replay after replay, and I watched it on DAZN, and the two DAZN commentators, they had to work hard to convince me that was a penalty shot. And that wasn't a penalty shot. That was weak.
They love Milan, by the way.
This is beautiful. Milan could do no right with DAZN. And you know what? That's my biryoshki. That's my indigestion of the week. I can't listen to DAZN anymore because when I watch, and I've said this before, I watch EPL a lot. There's no mention of Serie A. No mention of any other league. So when you're doing and you're professional and you're for DAZN and you're commenting Serie A, if you could find me a storyline in Serie A, I want to hear about the Serie A. I don't want to hear about John Robb III, who you played with in 1976 for Ipswich Town. Fuck you. Fuck Ipswich Town. And talk to me about my game. Talk to me about my game. Not once did they say. It took them to the 80th minute to say a bit of grinta for Milan. Going down to 10 men. And we're going to talk about that tackle for sure. But if you want to finish with the penalty shot, stupid penalty shot. That
definitely.
This balancing out bullshit. It has to stop because the game, we don't balance out the goals, Vinny. If Benevento takes the lead, we're not going to balance out Milan so Milan could tie.
I didn't mean it that they're doing it purposely, but your mind always goes to that. It's like which other game was it? It looks like they were balancing out bad calls, and you look at it both on both sides. But I get what you're saying, but in the end, Benevento didn't do anything to merit to win this game. I know they got a post. Insigne was like his brother getting, but they didn't do anything to impress and they got robbed. And in the end, and I want to talk about these commentators about the red card. I don't need to hear you say, oh, well, he wasn't even close. Look how late he was. And to them, it was a red card without even going to VAR, and they were just trashing. Look, it's a bad foul. It's really bad foul. And as soon as you saw the replay, Steve, it was going to go to a red. And we're going to talk because a lot of the questions is coming from why is everybody, giving shitting on Tonali and all this stuff. But I don't know what went through his head. I'm sure it wasn't done purposely. It was just late. He was just completely late and an unnecessary tackle on that one there, right? And you saw the disappointment in his face.
That's unfortunately what we've been getting with Tonali, inconsistency. And I said it from the beginning. We're going to need to give him time. We don't want to make the same Locatelli mistake. And I'm going to say it again. Locatelli right now would be more fit to start with this Milan team than Tonali. Challenge me again, and we're gonna bring up this. We're gonna bring up the soft touches on the ball. We're gonna bring up the passes that go to his teammates that they put them in a really awkward situation. So he has to mature, and I'm ready to give him that time. But are you telling me
Locatelli when he was 20 is better than Tonali what it was right now? Or are you talking about Locatelli right now?
Locatelli now.
Yes, okay, no, that I have to give you. But like you were saying, we saw him a couple of games were playing a bit better, and now back to square one. And yes,
it was from the beginning of the game, Vince. You saw he was not comfortable in this game at all. He was late to the game. Not only that tackle, he was late to the game. Nothing was working for him, and that's gonna happen. And I get it. But the thing is that if I'm gonna sit here week in and week out and criticize Leao, I'm going to sit here, and you better believe I'm going to sit here and I'm going to criticize Tonali.
No, I get you with that one there.
But that's what I don't get from Milan Twitter. You understand? We have to stop shitting on this guy. No one's shitting on him. They're giving an opinion. Am I telling him? Am I?
You're not saying you suck, Tonali.
Yeah, I'm not saying he sucks, and he doesn't. But you have to manage your expectations with the player that you've purchased. Get out of this Pirlo mentality. Because it's still there. Deep down inside, some of these Milanisti fans, it seems like they think he's the second coming of Pirlo, and that's not true. Make him be Tonali and relieve this pressure from him and make him be the player that he could grow up and develop to be.
wasn't it
That's
him
all we're
that
trying
said,
to say.
wasn't it him even that said this, like, forget about the spiel, but he sees himself more as a Gattuso? Maybe we're just trying to play him wrong. Maybe he is a Gattuso. Maybe he's not but in the end, give the kid some time, and we're going to get into there. But speaking of kids, Steve, your impressions of Leao the last couple of games, I find that he's been giving a lot more. That's according to me, my opinion. I see him tracking back a bit more. I don't see that laziness as much as I've seen before the two last games, where he was looking. Huh?
He's completely lazy.
How do you say that he's lazy?
He's lazy. There was no fight. We're 10 men down. He's the striker.
Yeah.
He has to run down every ball. And people were challenging me the last time I said this, and they said, you know what? Rebic is out of control. He's running. Rebic is pressing. That's what you press. You don't walk and press. I've never seen anybody walk and press, but I've seen Leao walk and press. He had a better game. He had a better game against Benevento.
Even the last couple of games, I'm not saying he's been excellent, but he's been playing, for me, he's been playing better than when he came back from injury. That first couple of games, it's like he was completely not there at all.
I'll give him the injury. Again, we're going to play the smallest violin. And again, this guy has to be ready to play. This is not year one anymore.
I didn't mean it by injury, Steve. I meant
but I'm
from
not
the game.
I'm not talking to you. I'm just talking to everybody because I know this is going to come back. This is year two now. We need to see development. If you could sit and say, hey, from last year to this year, I see a humongous improvement, please let me know. Because I have not seen that. And against Benevento, if he doesn't get that goal on the counterattack, we're not singing his praises anymore. The goal cannot cancel out your performances. Hey, Tonali took a 4.5 from the Gazzetta. You know what it takes? Bonucci, that slime, didn't even almost get a 4.5. And he gave away 3 goals to Fiorentina. Tonali took a 4.5.
But I still like it's our time. It's our time. But I'm not saying that he was spectacular, but I still like in the direction that he's going. The only problem that I see with the big problem I see with the whole Tonali red card, Steve, is what do we do on Wednesday? This is going to be our toughest test since, the streak of wins that we've had. And, I read somewhere, how about we put Kalulu in there? And it's like, well, we do have Krunic, and it's like, fuck, man, what would you do if you were, I said in Padre Pioli, we trust, but where do you go with the midfield? Do you just go Kessie and Krunic? We don't have really a choice, do we?
It depends what he wants to do. He can park the bus if he wants to and put Kessie and Krunic, but I think that, if he trusts Hakan as much as he trusts Hakan, and I've seen this also from, I'm going to give him credit, this is from Carlos Sardelli. He's a Milan Montreal club member. He's saying, now we're even lower on resource than we were before, and he wanted to have a look at, let's say, if we play Hakan next to Kessie and see what happens. At this point here, there's no one else that you can fit if you want to be aggressive, and I think they should, because Milan right now, whether it's tough test or not, you have nothing to lose in this game. Milan fans, we have nothing to lose. We can lose this game. We can tie this game. We can win this game. I'll be really happy. I have nothing to lose because I'm going to say the same thing that I said against Lazio. I want to see my best Milan, and I want to see the best Juve. That's when I make a decision on where we're at. We're not going to see that this week. And it's not an excuse and it's not a cop-out because we did it with no injuries. We did it when we had people that we couldn't count on because they had COVID. We're missing our best players now. Yeah. We did it in 10 men. So there's something going on at Milan. And you know what it is? It's grinta, guys. It's grinta. It's the will to win. And you can't take that away from anybody. We sit here on Monday nights, we Monday morning quarterback this thing, but these guys have been playing their asses off.
Yes, they have.
And you know what? I wanna harp on the layouts because it's frustration that it's like you see the player walking. You wanna harp on the Tonali. It's because the talent is there. He showed it at Brescia. You understand? There's something that's not clicking right now, and there's time, and sometimes we lose track of how much patience we could actually give to a certain player, but we have to be patient. And then there's the positives, you understand? Like, Calabria is having a great season. Theo Hernandez, Kajar, Romagnoli was good too. A couple of instances against Benevento that I wasn't too happy about, but they held the fort. Hey, we held the fort. We were getting.
But how good was Kajar, Steve?
He was
for a
very
guy, he was just like a pillar there in defense, and it was like you always have that fear. You come back from an injury, not because you're not ready to play, just to get back into the groove of things. Yeah. And I was impressed. I was really impressed.
This is the perfect example for all my Leao friends. Okay, and I'm going to call them my Leao friends. Leao comes back from injury. What is he? 20 years old, 25 years old, 20. Let's say 20, whatever age he is, and we have to give him a couple of games to get back in the groove. The 33-year-old comes back from injury, and we expect him. Thank God they spoke before, and they didn't make him play 90 minutes. Okay, they made him play 80. But Kajar doesn't get that buffer, you understand? And that's the maturity process, and that's the frustration that comes from me. Because you got to take a look at the 33-year-old as someone of Leao's age and say, hey, I don't have this excuse anymore. Why do I get an excuse and he doesn't get an excuse? There's another 39-year-old who's going to come back from injury soon.
You like that little video he put out? Maybe.
He's not going to have that safety net anymore. He's going to have the aura of Zlatan, but he's not going to have that safety net. So why does Leao get a safety net? That's the frustrating part.
Because he's young and we're going to give him time. A la Tonali. Maybe that's the reasoning from the people. But once again, you keep on repeating it, right? We're not saying they suck. We're not saying go home. You're not the Milan. It's just that, hey, this is our opinion. That's it. Whether Stevie likes him or not, or whether I like him or not, guys, this is what it is. This is just opinions, not facts. When we start working for ESPN, then we'll do something different. Steve, about Ibra, he's just playing with everybody's heads. He's not coming back.
He's not coming back against Juve. Forget about it.
No,
make your Fanta Calcio otherwise.
Exactly. Steve, I'm going to start off by Ian sent us a voice note, Steve. I asked everybody to send, but it was only Ian, but I'm going to see what he's saying over here and see if we can answer him.
Happy New Year, Steve and Vinny and Presidente, and to all the listeners. Guys, it's been a great start to 2021 for Milan. Big win over Benevento, but now comes the big test against Juve. The great news is that despite Tonali picking up that silly red card and missing the match, I think more importantly, we're going to have Theo Hernandez back on the left side after his suspension due to yellow card accumulation. So this is good news. We're going to field a really good lineup. Looks like Leao's going to start as striker again. However, I wonder if you guys have seen any updates on whether Ibrahimovic will be available either as a starter or coming off the bench for the match against Juve, because that would be a huge boost. Thanks, guys, and Forza Milan.
I love how Ian thinks like we have the inside scoops. We have Presidente working in the background. He's calling people, this and that. But no inside scoops, Ian. But I wish deep down in my Milanista heart that he's just trolling everybody, and all of a sudden he's starting to play just to fuck with Juve. But the senseless, the actual head here says no, like we were just saying with Stevie, right, Steve? It's not Fantacalcio different, right?
It would be something really. From the reports that I read after they re-examined him, there it was he's missing Benevento, he's missing Juve, and we'll see the game on Sunday. But guys, you have to take into consideration that the guy is 39 years old. He can post all the videos that he wants, sliding and heading the ball into the net or running into the snow and making a snow angel in minus whatever weather. He's 39 years old, guys. And I don't doubt for one fact, for one moment, that he's not in excellent shape. But we have to think of, again, it's not just this Juve game, guys. We have a whole season. The eye on the prize is top 4. And I hope the club looks at that. I hope the fans look at that. And a lot of things can change. And we've gone through a lot of stuff. You understand? Like we've gone through the COVID. We've gone through injuries, accumulation of cards, stupid red cards. Let's hope that in the second half of the season, because we're still not at halfway, guys.
No, we're not.
Still not at halfway. We started late. You have to remember that. And anybody who tells you that we're winter champions, you punch them in the face.
You know what, Steve? A lot of people say slow and steady wins the race, right?
Yeah, and lucky too. You understand? Slow, steady, and lucky.
And who, you know what else we have that tells you slow and steady wins the race, Steve? Manscaped, Steve. You know, when you're doing something like this, 7,000 RPMs next to your family jewels, you know, you got to read the instructions here. So, you know, slow and steady wins. You see, this is what I did, right? You got to do this. Oh, you got to do this. Do not do this, right? So for anybody that used it, I know Mario, Anthony, Jan, they all ordered themselves the kit that comes, Steve, with No Pari Mutant, a T-shirt. You got the reviver, the preserver. So you know that we're joking around with the Francis saying that Juventini should get the reviver because they need something to revive their season, and then we need to take the preserver because we need to preserve, you know, these things. But guys, honestly, everybody that we know that actually bought this stuff is like raving about it. We used it. I love even the T-shirt, Steve. You just see that it's good quality stuff. Comes in a nice little package, but you don't have to buy the whole package, right? You can buy all different types of stuff. But
yeah, they come separate and they come all together in this package. But the package is bang for your buck. Like the guys are saying there, you get the lawnmower 3.0, the pole toner, the reviver. Reviver is an amazing product, guys, for bigger guys like myself. Chafing is always a problem. You get that bruscamente in between the coscia there, and it gets all red and makes you uncomfortable with the boxers. You put a little bit of this on, you slap it on a little bit on the side of the prosciutto, and you're all good.
And we've had some comments from the wife/girlfriend strife, mistresses, anything that they like the smell of it, that, it's a very manly smell. The mutantes, the boxers are very nice as well. And look, even gives you the newspaper to trim everything. But Presidente said that he's not getting rid of his 70s bush. He said he's going to have to wait on that one. So Presidente is the only one that didn't buy it. But the guys, have a look at their website. Officially launched in Canada. Free delivery and 20% off. So as Manscaped likes to tell us, guys, slow and steady wins the race. Bruscamente, yeah, on no prosciutto. Let's go to, and thank you to the new Patreons, Steve. Gillis 15, a new Patreon. And we have Brian Johnson. Steve, you know who Brian Johnson is? He's the singer of AC/DC. Did you know that he likes Milan? And that's why it might not be the same person, but thank you to thank you to those guys there. And first off, to Derek Favretto, he says, I'm unable to do the voice thing right now. Oh, no problem, Derek. I have a couple of questions. Do you think we should allow Krunic to walk in January? He calmed things down when he came on yesterday. I'm going to go to a second question after, but Krunic, Steve, supposedly, they've gotten offers and Maldini will not let him go. Has he ever came out and played bad? We always remember when he used to do those cameos and it's like, you know what, Krunic came on, he did his job. It's not like would you let him go?
It's hard to say. If we're looking to replace and to upgrade, then we're gonna have no choice because the midfield's pretty stacked. But I think against Benevento, he did come on. It was a change that I think Pioli jumped on right away. The commentators also really jumped on that as well, that he didn't wait till halftime. And I think Benevento, once we got the red card, I think they were playing it properly. They were, they were controlling the possession. They were being dangerous. And, we didn't mention it, and I think it's the best time to mention it now, guys. Gigio Donnarumma, we're getting close to that point of give him what he needs, give him what he wants, because against Benevento, there was nothing that was going to get by that guy's net.
Yeah.
I think the saves, he was on point. He was very vocal, which apparently the DAZN commentators didn't like that, even though they have absolutely no idea what he was saying because they don't understand Italian. They didn't like that. They found that it was I didn't like that when someone when the keeper would come out and blame me. He's not blaming you. He just told Calabria or Samu not to make the guy put in a cross. But besides that, I think he was fantastic. I think he was very active in net for Milan and did not miss one of those crosses. But if we go back to Krunic, the only thing that I really saw was I think he was a bit sloppy too in possession. He did give away that, we're going to call it a penalty. But besides that, look, we need to upgrade, guys. We need to. I like the Krunic. I like the small cameos. But you see now in a game like we have
out of nowhere, we need to put you on. He wasn't. It looked like he was prepared.
Yeah, not even only prepared, but now not only for Benevento, now we're stuck and we don't have anybody else. And you saw when we mentioned Krunic in the comments, everybody pretty much went crazy. But look, this team needs to upgrade again for the current race and the race to top 4, and people need to also understand that if we're going to take it to the next level, unfortunately, a player like Krunic is not going to get us to that next level.
And the whole fact that we're considering to put Hakan in there instead of Krunic, if the price is right, who knows? But no, I feel not that we don't like him, but if the situation calls for it, why not? It's a question. Tonali needs more time. Assume does this fan base allow this? With Benacer and Kessie progression tenfold, we can just allow him to adapt. You know what? The Tonali, Steve, we're gonna get him all up because everybody's questions were about Tonali, and we'll just talk about it after. We need to go all in on this market as Champions League qualification is paramount. What we will do. There's the Simakan that supposedly it's 90% done.
Today is beautiful. Today was a real, true Mercato Madness day. Beautiful. I saw Krunic to Torino for Ingulo and Mete.
For Torino Pro, Steve?
Ingulo and Mete. That was a classic one. If we reverse the order, all the Italian listeners will know what I wanted to avoid there. We have Simakan, we have Kone. Oh, this is beautiful, guys. But again, I'm gonna go with my traditional. I want to see them behind that desk signing a contract, or at least from the words of from the mouth of Lord Maldini. That we've signed these players to comment, but I'm not going to pretend again, Vince, to say that I know who Simakan is and not even right now. If it gets a bit more serious, we have YouTube to look at. I get it, but I never get a fair evaluation on someone from YouTube. So,
but it just reminds me of we're not going to bullshit people, but I know you hate it when I mention wrestling, but sometimes. Wrestling Twitter, they'll be this one Japanese wrestler, and people, oh my God, he's fantastic. I've been following him since he was 14 years old, and he's the greatest. But he wasn't nowhere last week, right? And Simakan, I'm not saying he was nowhere last week, but let's not pretend that we've been following, the Simakan from that stuff. He seems to, from what we read, he's an up and comer and has potential. But once again, we're gonna go pay 20 million. I think there's 15 or 20 million. I'm sure he's got talent, but we can't start judging about this guy if we've never, you watch more than me. You're in the news a lot more than me, and
it's just reading up in the different articles that you can catch, So, look, there was an offer of 15. Apparently, it was rejected. They want to keep him because they're getting other offers from other teams. It's the usual Mercato stuff, right? They don't want to be the first to sell and then say, "Oh, you left $5 million on the table." So that's this. We're gonna hear this till the Mercato closes, right? But to go all in, I don't know what all in means for everybody. Because for me, all in is completely different than you're all in, right, Vince? And the thing we have to understand is, the government passing that law on the taxes and and how much it's going to cost the teams X number of millions more on wages. China blockading money, getting investments outside of China. That's going to affect the Mercato too.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that we have to wait and see. But I think this Mercato will be one of creativity. I think it'll involve some swaps, and we'll see.
Nathan says, not sure where all the Steve hate is coming from, mentioned on last week's pod, but I appreciate his approach. Part of the fun of this pod is listening to Vinny and Steve counter each other when they disagree. Each point ends up getting explored further as a result of being challenged. Thank you, Nathan. As far as questions go, kind of echoing Derek on Tonali, the kid clearly needs more time, figure out which way is up. How much time can Milan afford to give him? Is it possible that Maldini will already look for a possible replacement in the current transfer window? This is, specific about Tonali. We'll answer it. I don't think they would find a replacement for him in this window, Steve. How much time would you give him the whole year? Would you give him 2 years? I think okay. a potentially world-class talent, you can't just give him 1 year, can you?
No, he has to develop, and it depends how Milan develops him. Right now, you have Kessie and Benasser that hold pretty much that whole midfield up on its feet. As Benasser and Kessie go, Milan goes. But we've seen the past couple of weeks, minus Benasser, we're still holding ground. Will this continue for the whole year? Absolutely not. We need them back right away. Those two guys also in the past have fatigued down the line. Now, last year, we have to remember, guys, they got a real huge break with COVID. We're not getting that. We're not, I knock on wood, and I hope, and this soccer relates to all, we don't get that same break in this year's schedule. And you see how packed this year's schedule is, right? Because of the Euros as well. Will they fatigue down the line? That's when I need to see Tonali. And that's the frustration with Tonali, is you want to see him on a game like Benevento. I'm not saying dominate, but I'm saying at least contribute. You understand? And he still looks a little bit out of place.
We had Paulie saying, good evening, Vinny and Steve. It's a good time to have the A team back together. What do you guys think of the improved form of Calabria? He may not have the ferocity of Hernandez going forward, but he certainly made strides in his performance of late. Steve, we've mentioned it. I think Calabria has to be the surprise of the year for me, right? I don't think nobody was expecting anything from Calabria, and it seems that every game he's doing well. He's there, and it's not the same Calabria of the last 6 months of last year. That's for sure. He
is the surprise. He is the surprise, and you saw also him get a good break, and we saw Conti get on the field against Benevento, which was nice to see. Yeah, he's been playing well, and I'm not going to discredit that. I'm just saying that, again, it's a long season, and he hasn't had a lot of rest, and I'm worried about that. And if that right back gets hurt, now we're starting to dip into the Conte. We're starting to move Kalulu back on the right-hand side if you could play right back. Can Dalot play right back? Those are the questions that you have to ask in a very long season, which we're not at halfway yet, guys. This is the real point that I want to stress on. We're not at the halfway point yet.
Greg sending us a message, Steve. He goes, I watched Fofana play yesterday, and it appears we missed on a center back with great potential. Based on this small sample size, he would easily be our third choice center back. If we seriously want to return to being a top European club, we cannot lose prospects to Leicester City, a club with zero pedigree. For this Mercato, we are being linked with so many names. Can you rate these names 1 to 5 based on the likelihood of them joining us? Simakan probably saying, maybe probably 4 out of 5 that he's going to join us. Steve, Tovin.
It's very hard. I would say 2 out of 5.
2 out of 5. Jokic.
1 out of 5.
1 out of 5. Edouard. 1 out of 5. Maybe.
1 out of 5.
Zaccagni.
Today they said that there's no interest from Milan, but these are the players that I personally like because I think they play in Serie A already. Would Verona give up on him? I think depending on the price, but he would be an interesting signing on the right-hand side for Milan.
Scamacca, what's his name? Scamacca too. I think his name came up a couple of times.
That's from Genoa. I don't think that's going to happen because it's a deal with
Sassuolo and stuff like that. But taking a look at the Twitter machine, Steve. Let's take a look here. Vinny asked.
So let's go back to hold on. Before
actually, go. Actually, we're going to talk about Serie A before we go to Twitter. But go ahead. I'm just preparing
who sent that question again? I forgot.
Who sent this? This was Greg from Patreon.
So Fofana went to Leicester.
Yeah.
That's what he's angry about, right?
No, he's saying that we missed that. He goes, he looked at his play and goes, we could have had a center back like that. I think he was, he's like, so we shouldn't be missing out on
that. But the thing is that what are they paying Fofana?
That's a very good one.
So that's, you see, we missed that portion, guys. We missed that portion and it's a very important portion. Because like you saw, I was reading today that, PSG, Chelsea, magically everybody is wants Donnarumma now. And they're throwing 12 to 14 million out at the Donnarumma. We cannot compete with 12 and 14 million dollars a year, guys. You forget about it. It's better you try to cash in, right? Exactly. Apparently his heart is with Milan and does not want to leave Milan. And if that's true, guys, Get your statue of Baresi, Maldini, and we'll add Donnarumma to that statue lane.
Definitely. And Çalhanoğlu, as long as you want to re-sign at a good price, you can keep on doing those Instagram Milan's on fire. Hey, I don't mind it. I don't mind it. Steve, looking at the results of the week, I know you like to talk Serie A. Starting off on Saturday, obviously Inter destroying Crotone. I don't think them losing. We know we're gonna win, but we're surprised with 6 goals past Crotone.
It's Inter's fault. It's Inter's fault that they scored 6 goals.
Why?
It's Inter's fault. He should have never scored 6 goals.
They should have. Why do you say that?
They should have stopped at 3. Apparently, it's only Milan, right? Milan cannot. It's only Milan that gets judged in the newspapers, and every time Milan does something wrong, okay. Inter was lucky. Crotone made them score 6 goals.
And now they have the point differential or the goal differential for
the goal differential. That's fine. It's great. It's just I'm fed up of the media in terms of imagine on Sky Sport, the only one who's giving Milan even some kind of credit for the run that they've gone on is an Interista, Bergomi. Yeah. Which I think it's a psychological play, if you ask me, because deep down inside he must be burning, and he's
been throwing flowers Milan's way. Steve Bergomi,
but that's a psychological play because he knows that at a certain time the lead will switch, and I don't mind that the lead switches because that's what the Campionato is.
Yeah,
but the rest of
Steve, we're the new team to hate. Steve, we're the new team to hate.
But it's okay. I like it though. But this is what I like. I like this portion of it. But it has to be done in a constructive way. Because if Juve would have won that game against Benevento with 10 men, the way we did, it would have been splashed on every newspaper. Juve, con 10 uomini, with 10 men, pulled a fantastic performance of 10 on 10. Hey, come on.
It's because
the criticism has to be handed out equally.
What boggles my mind is okay, hold on a second. Milan is winning these games with half a team. Oh, they got a penalty here. Well, that's the reason. There's got to be no other reason than La Grinta and team spirit. And you know what? I'm loving it. You know what? No. Hate all you want. And you know what? I'm confident about Wednesday, and I've never been confident against a Juventus kind of team because even though we have half a team, it's that Grinta, and it just looks like everything is possible. Kajar said it out. He goes, this team can prove that we could win every single game. And I love hearing things like that. But everybody.
That's the mentality that, we spoke about at the beginning of the show. Milan right now on Wednesday should go into J Stadium and have absolutely nothing to worry about. This will not determine the fate of their season. They're at
Milan, by the way. They're at Milan.
It's Milan Juve?
Yeah. They're at the San Siro.
Well, anyways, we're at home, wherever we're playing, whether it be at J Stadium or at San Siro, we have nothing to lose. This does not determine the Scudetto race by a bit. If you look at the standings, right now, we're 10 points.
Let me scroll it down here. So even if, Cassano was saying that if Juve loses to Milan, their Scudetto race is over. You know what? Even if we did win, right? They still have a game in hand. We will go up to what? 18. We will go up to they are 27. We have 10 points of difference. Anything could happen. And again, Steve, we're 15 games in. 15.
Exactly. It's very early. The thing with this now is every time you hear about Milan, there's always, I call it the but. Milan, they showed a lot of will to win. They showed a lot of courage, but they got a penalty. Milan against Lazio, yeah, they played really well. But nothing. They're winning. We criticize because I wear the red and black. I criticize, and I'm able to sit on here with Vinny and criticize. But in the end, it's 3 points. That's all you're looking for. I wish you would have scored against Benevento. I wish you would have scored an offside goal. That would have been the hat trick. Red card. Dubious penalty, goal, VAR, offside, upheld, and we scored 3-0.
I like it. You know what? They keep on hating when you are number one for a period of time. They're gonna hate because they cannot have an explanation. But who was it? Sky that needed to make sure that they put out not our record of all these points in Serie A, for the first 15 games of the season. No, let's talk about that. Juventus is the only team across Europe to not have had a goal scored from a header. Wow. T'es allé chercher ça loin. I'm sorry en français, but
absolutely stupid statistics of zero relevance to anybody. And you know what? And again, it comes to accountability, and no one's accountable for that. The producer who produced that show is not accountable for that. And that's stupid. Let's get back to the standings. There's nothing to say.
Atalanta, Steve, looks like, they can go without Papu Gomez. I don't know where he's going to land up, but 5 goals against Sassuolo. I did not expect them scoring 5 goals, or is this I don't know. Is this team for real?
Look, Atalanta could score. I have no doubt that they can score. My problem is when they start having, again, and we've seen it so far, the hiccups when they're playing 3 times a week. So we'll see as Champions League progresses where they go. I think the issue here is more Sassuolo being very damaged on the defensive end and letting that those, because I watched the game a little bit, and guys, the goals that they scored were nice goals and fantastic plays by Atalanta, but Sassuolo didn't look like they were really in the game.
So nothing, even them, what did they score from these 5-6 goals in the end? It's where you're going to end up at the end of the season. Napoli, easy win against Cagliari, Steve. Even them, we nobody's really talking a lot about Napoli. Roma, by the way, Francis said that Milan would not finish top 4 and Roma would finish ahead of us. That's why a lot of people were shitting on him.
I talk to him every single week about that, and I fight my point and I fight my defense, and I have Francis and I have Vince Gattuso, and they're telling me that. And look, in the end, I if I had a magic ball and I can tell you, I would be making a serious amount of money right now. Serious amount of money in predictions.
On that side was more like the Roma and the Napolis. People have been talking about Juventus and Milan is this, is that, but Napoli's winning. Roma did what they needed to do to win. I think they scored what, Steve? Late in the game, if I'm not mistaken, after 75th minute, because it was 0-0 for after
Roma. Roma was lucky. They were lucky against Sampdoria. Hey, look at that! Another team that got lucky, and they're not called Milan. But no one's going to talk about that because right now they're looking at the top of the table and they're looking at Milan. If roles were reversed, I bet you maybe. I'm saying maybe because I'm still not convinced. They will be talking about Milan being lucky if they were not in first place, right? So
obviously, Fiorentina, Steve, they beat Juventus now. So let's go back to normal. We can't win more than 1 game in a row there. But Fiorentina 0-0 against Bologna.
Guys, everybody scores against Bologna now. If you can't score against Bologna, Fiorentina has some major problems, and they need to understand what that project wants to be there. So Kumbare there, he can come out and say and talk and say what he wants. He's got to get himself a project there, or else Fiorentina is going to fail.
And then Juventus, right, with scoring those 4 goals. Again, it's like, you're playing Udinese. I don't think this was a surprise to anybody, but they needed this win, Steve, because they need to regroup, as Pirlo was saying. And now Alexandro has COVID. So he's not making the trip, but I don't think that's. But they announced it like if it was Ronaldo that had the COVID. Alexandro no viene a Milano against. Okay, who cares? We don't have half a team. We don't have to make the headlines for that stuff there. But anyways, Steve,
there's another game you missed. Genoa Lazio, very important.
Sorry, yeah.
Guys, Lazio needs to. What is Lazio? Can they only score from Ciro Immobile penalty shots?
That's a good point.
You're playing a Genoa team, and we're not ones to talk. We drop points against Genoa too. But Lazio's supposed to be this dominant midfield. You still drop points against Genoa, guys. And my point here is that this is what our league is. It's parity. And, and week in and week out, a team like Genoa is going to rob you of 2 points. Maybe rob you of 3 points. That's what it is, guys.
And look at where Lazio is, Steve. Right? You're 15 points away from first place right now. 15.
We know how that feels. We've been 15 points, 15 to 18 points away for the last, let's say, 5-6 years. It's a long trek up. That's why people are saying, and I'm reading in the comments there, like, guys, a team like Juve is too deep. Their pockets are too deep. We don't know what they're gonna do in January. They can go on a run. A team like Lazio, I don't know if they can go on that same run. So that's why, for me, this is not a deciding match for either Milan or Juventus. What it may do in the end is maybe vault Inter over Milan, and let's have some pressure on the Interists and see how they deal with it.
Have we seen, to our defense, have we seen a team do a comeback in the last fucking 10 years? No. So none of these teams are able to do this kind of
Unfortunately, there was no comeback to be made. The Juve was always there.
I remember there was one year that Roma had almost made it to, like, that went from 9th to 3rd, and then they just crumbled the last three or four games there. But yeah, that's another fair point from there. Steve, let's just finish off with the Twitter questions. What do we have here? Do you guys think about these potential buys? AC Milan have offered 50 million for Simakan and Kone, 5 million to Toulouse. I love Christian. It's like we're saying. It's like I would love to give you like an opinion on these guys, but as we're saying in the title in Pioli we trust. Right now in Maldini and Steve, may I go there and say in Masada we trust, because we like to make fun of the guy that he never talks or anything like that, but a lot of these signings are of his work, right? So far, let's
work at that, and it's also a lot to do with the scouting. I think we're looking at these French players because of the connection we have in France there with our scouting department, and we're looking at these French players. I'm seeing in the chats again. We're going with the Italian young players. Guys, do you want to do? Hey, you want to do like Juve, guys? I don't want to do like Juve. Juve takes 10,000 people on loan, then loans them out, then they sell Sturado to Genoa for 18 million. You have to identify talent, right? And right now, our scouting is stronger in what we're seeing now. It's stronger in the French leagues. Am I saying that they're better than the Italian players? No. But you guys have to understand too, if you're going to pige from Italian teams, you're going to pay. You're going to pay a hefty sum. We saw with the Tonali guys. We paid a hefty sum. Mm-hmm. Now it feels like a hefty sum now.
Right. That's I get where both sides are coming from, but it's not, sorry, Tommy, it's not somebody from Serie B that's going to bring us to the next level. A potential quality player that I get, but right now, like the buys that we need to get is to secure that the top 4 spots. Steve, over 91 live viewers. I think we even beat the time we were with IFTV. Not bad. Steve Francis, obviously. Will Milan beat Lazio's record of 20 penalty kicks awarded in one Serie A season achieved last year?
25 we're going to get this year. 25. And then andate tutta fangul and go see the refs and talk to them because I don't care.
Siamo numero uno.
Excuse me. I don't care.
You heard that, Francis? We don't care.
No, but the thing is that,
They make it seem like, okay, look, we're not into that boat, Steve, where the referees were paid and they always gave it to Juventus. But there was a lot of times that Juventus got penalties where it was more than dubious penalties. These ones here, it's not like, like the one with Rebic. It's not like that's happening every single game. Can you say that at least 80% of the penalties were legit?
It's not happening every single game. It doesn't help. But again, the main focal point and the point that I want to stress here is that there's a ref who's paid money to referee this game. He's going to make that call. He made the call on the Tonali. He's accountable for that call. He's accountable for he actually called a foul. VAR radioed him in and said, hey, this might be more than a foul, which I'm okay with. I'm okay with that. If you're not sure, and then it comes to the integrity of the ref, and are we going to be second thinking everything? Unfortunately, it looks like we're going on that route because, hey, things like the Rebic penalty and the penalty against Krunic, and the one missed on Diaz, those are 3 blemishes in a game that a ref cannot take week in and week out. Because, okay, it was Benevento Milan, and the result ended up going Milan's way. Again, if we reverse the roles, and Milan don't get those calls,
would they be writing about it? No.
I don't think they would be writing about it, and that's the problem. It's always the FIGC and the integration of the refs, and that, referee cannot be spoken to after the game. No one's gonna come out and say, "Hey, what are you doing here? Is this why did you make that call? Is it right? Is it wrong?" They're not gonna do that. So.
Initially, Larry, they're giving a yellow card, and that's what he got called. And the yellow turned into a red, justly so. Steve, Massimo's asking, would you be happy with a tie versus Juve? Juve without Morata, Milan without Ibra, Tonali, Bennacer? I personally would not. Also, who is level-headed and understands that Tonali still needs time like Bennacer got? Everybody's on his back after off-season. So this is another Tonali we're going to discuss after. But Steve, would you be happy with a tie against Juventus? I love Massimo's like, no, I wouldn't be happy with a tie. He wants a win.
Look, I always want to win, and I hate losing, and I don't want to lose against Juventus. I don't want to lose. I don't like losing. But again, you have to sometimes see how the game plays out, right? We saw against Udine. If I don't know for anybody who watched that game, Udinese was holding their own. It was close. They had the goal called back by DePaul. Then it was just stupid mistakes on Udine's side to give, you give the Ronaldo, CR7, the ball in the box off a throw-in, catching your own defense off guard. He's going to, 9 times out of 10, he's going to put it in the back of the net, guys. And again, we can talk all we want. The guy scores goals, doesn't miss the net, guys. It's not a goal. It's not a shot that's going to go into the keeper's hands comfortably. He's going to make him work.
And, I know Massimo was saying you wouldn't be happy with a tie, but honestly, Steve, I would be happy with a tie because this is still Juventus, guys. I know we like to make fun and they're down there. And this is still Juventus. And you have a game changer on the pitch, a CR7. So that's why I'm saying that I would still be, I'm not going to make, jumping jacks and hooray, we got a tie. But if this team can manage to perform properly and still get a tie against Juventus and keep on going, because, even for Inter win, Steve, ci stanno ancora 23 partite, guys. So
exactly.
Relax.
There's
we're going to get
23 more games, guys, and we're not 18 points behind. That's where we have to, again, I'm not a one to schedule watch, but, unfortunately you do. And when you're at the top, you kind of do. And look.
Do you agree with Tim there, Steve?
Absolutely not.
You're going a bit far there, Tim. You're going a bit far. What else do we have on Twitter? Fabio is saying, Buon anno, boys, with Tonali's red card and Krunic looking very shaky. Do we think adding a center midfielder with some experience should be Milan's top priority this market? The right wing still needs depth besides Sausage Maker and Samu. We went from center back to winger to now a midfielder. Do you go out and get another midfielder, Steve? Because if you have to go get a midfielder, you have to go get a band-aid solution. So what's the point, right? You have guys like Bennacer and Kessie, and Tonali's gonna come up, but I don't think we need a midfielder. Do you?
No, I don't think the January market is time for a midfielder. I think as much as I've been very, very tough on him, I think Tonali needs a couple of more games, and I think he's gonna learn a lesson from this red card. And there's no one else to blame. It's not a terrible pass that was made to him. It was him. He missed his first touch, and then he got reckless. But he has to understand and become mature that, we were leading the game 1-0. We were not comfortable, but we were leading the game 1-0. And with that comes a little bit of responsibility on his part because he cannot take that type of card. We cannot take that type of card against a better team. We will lose that game. So I think, again, in January, it's going to be hard, but we're seeing it now. And right now, knock on wood, it's been going our way. I think replacement for someone, I'm going to call him a striker 1A, 1B, whatever you want, someone to give Ibra a little bit of rest should be very important. I think that right-hand side needs some help, guys. I'm convinced. I don't think Calabria will be able to hack it all this year with covering for the midfield and for his defensive duties. So
we've played Calabria in midfield before, Steve. We can try.
we have played Calabria in midfield before, but the center of the park, guys, unfortunately, it's just bad luck, right? You have Benacer out. We're gonna have Tonali out with a card, and we have Krunic and Kessie. That's four players for 2 spots, right? So that's exactly what you want to have. A fifth one is going to just cause disaster.
Exactly. Tesfalem, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Milan Twitter especially needs to chill the fuck out. He's 20 years old. I was ashamed of the way people on this app went at this throat, for fuck's sakes. We shouldn't put the game away in the first half, yet we still got the result. I stand behind this team, whoever we field. Pastor is saying, hello, guys from Seattle. Hello, Seattle. I feel like there's too much hate on Tonali, especially his age. Wouldn't you agree? But did Conte impress you guys? He sure did impress me, even though he's more likely on his way out. Okay, so other than Tonali that we're just going to give our final thoughts on after. But how about Conte, Steve? Did we see enough of Conte to say that we're impressed?
He a fantastic through ball.
He's a midfielder, right, Steve? Didn't he start off as a wing back? Did he
Atalanta's formation is 3-5-2. He played a right wing back. So again, with Conte, you know that I have a soft spot with him because I think injuries took away a lot from this young guy's career. You saw the potential in just that through ball that he gave to Leao, which I did not see enough of Conte this year, and unfortunately, he's injury prone. Again, the same way we talked about Krunic is we're going to have to talk about Conte. Will he accept a role of playing sometimes yes, sometimes no? I have no idea. Will Pioli ever get away from his current formation? That can give him some playing. But I don't think we're mature enough to play at a 3-man back and have wing backs running everywhere, which would be something interesting. But that through ball that he gave against Benevento to send Leao free brings me to a very important point that everybody has to take note of that game. The Benevento game, for how lucky that we were lucky.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm going to just say it. We were lucky to come out with that win. We showed a lot of heart, but we ended up being lucky. But the chances that we missed in the final third, even with a man down, guys, we got to bury those. We have Kessie hitting the post. We have, Hakan on a shot hitting the post. I'm not going to say that's on him. That was a fantastic shot. He just got unlucky. But the plays in the final third with Leao, not wanting, I thought he was selfish. In this game, we needed him to be selfish, and he wasn't being selfish enough. So when I say that I'm disappointed in his play, it's for things like that. At this point in his career, year 2, it has to be the right decision in the final third, especially in a very, I'm going to say, delicate game like the Benevento game.
Because those are the kind of chances you need to bury, Steve, especially with, your top 6-7 teams in Serie A. You cannot make those mistakes, right? So, no, I don't have a problem with you calling us. I'll go with slightly lucky on yesterday. Everybody else is commenting on, thank you to Yango. Thank you to Martino, to Sabrina answering the question. Richard, Michael Lissi saying, even Daniel Bryant memes, Milan Club Boston. Look, let's finish off. And yes, Ahmed, thank you very much. You sent us that question. Brian Johnson, Ole Johansson, everybody's saying that maybe they could do better after 6 months. Let's finish off with that, Steve. So yes, I think we have to, just the way I was mentioning last podcast, saying some people are taking us way too seriously. You, Mr. Negativity, whatever. And on the other side, it's like, hey guys, it's the internet, right? And if Steve and I didn't have thick skins or didn't want to do this, we wouldn't be on the internet. Do we leave it up to, hey, it's social media, people are keyboard warriors, right? Do we have to take all these things in consideration? Do we even think that he is reading all this shit? I seriously doubt he's reading all this shit. He's probably
I don't think he's reading all this. And it's not the thing is that, Vinny, we come from an old school. We come from an old school where myself, I had the newspaper. I didn't have the internet. I would read as much as I could read. Local newspapers, the small sports section in the back. As I grew older, Gazzetta dello Sport, when I was able to find it. Then, guys, we didn't grow up in an era, myself and Vinny, and I'll tell you the honest truth, guys. I didn't grow up with a phone in my hand, guys. I grew up with a pack of cards in my hands.
Yes, we did.
3-7. 3-7 la vince, 3-7
500.
Briscola, 250, 500. Crazy brisk, even after like that. I grew up with a pack of cards in my hands. And you know who was sitting next to me, guys? A very intelligent, I'm going to say intelligent because in that time they were intelligent men, where I, myself, little Steve, at 18 years old, was able to have a conversation and talk about these players, talk about a player, see how they looked at the game. And they were more fucked up than we were. If they were Juve, they were Juve. If they were Inter, they were Inter. There was no, hey, let's give him a chance. No, it's out. In the end, the only thing that they cared about was their team. The black and the red, the white and the black, the blue and the black. That's all they cared about. They didn't care who played. They didn't care who was the next up-and-coming signing. They cared about the team. Where they finished. Did they make it to the Champions League? Did they win the Scudetto?
What's that saying? No, non si deve tifare il giocatore, ma solamente questi due colori. That's what it comes down to, right? So Tonali, yes, we're happy that we have a guy like this, but to shit on him, no, he doesn't deserve it. But in the end, guys, you got to take stuff with a grain of salt, right? People like you're saying, to be behind the screen and to be all tough guys. And in the end, I think that stuff that we say, Steve, would you say it to Leao's face? I think you would, right? Maybe in a proper manner, but it's not something that we're saying, fuck you.
No shame, Vinny.
No, but I'm saying is that we're not, the people that are saying, fucking Tonali sucks, fuck you. No, like, relax.
And he can turn around, Vinny, and say, who the fuck
Thank
are
you,
you?
Phil B. Thank you, Phil B. Too much FIFA leads to a warped sense of reality of how actual players. Thank you. That's our closing comment.
Phil B, we've said this multiple times. Guys, this is not FIFA. This is not career mode. We cannot buy a pack and you will get a Tonali at 89. This is real life. These are kids. He's a young kid. We're just talking about his play and what we've seen, what I've seen, the little that I've seen of Tonali play at Brescia. I saw him more confident. The jersey was his. He felt like he was in his skin. I feel that, unfortunately, at Milan, he doesn't feel like he's in his skin. He's second-guessing himself. He's overthinking even the simplest pass. Will time heal this? I don't know, guys. I saw him, and I'm going to call out Tim. Tim compared him to Paquetá. Tim, I have to disagree with you. I cannot call a spade there. Paquetá, we were seeing, stupid plays where he would run in the corner and he would try to scissor 17 times and not be able to take a foul and lose possession. We would try to see the sombrero where he would try to flip the ball over the opponent. That's the Brazilian style of play. I get it. But again, there's not two spades, right? And I'm going to defend a bit Paquetá here too. Paquetá to come from another country, come to Italy, try to learn the language. When Tonali comes from Brescia, from Italy, but it's two different pressures, guys. The pressure on Paquetá is a pressure of life. The pressure on Tonali is the pressure because we want him or we think that he can become something that he's not. And we have to get this out of our brains. He is not the second coming of Pirlo. There will be no second coming of Pirlo. Put it through your heads. There's no second coming of Pirlo. There's no one on the Italian national team right now. There's no one down the stretch in 10 years. There will not be another Andrea Pirlo.
There's one thing about managing our expectations, but throughout a certain time. You want to manage your expectations, guys, on Tonali after watching him for fucking 15 games in that he hasn't watched. He screwed up. It's fine. You don't think Gattuso screwed up when he first came into I don't think he took a lot of. I'm sure he took a lot of cards, and that the coach weren't too happy about. And it's like, no, he doesn't deserve it. But in the end, it's unfortunate. We live in this society that it's just like that. What do you want to do, guys? Steve, you said your. You know what? We already said our brioche, not our brioches, but our indigestions of the week. I went with Sky Sports. So you went. You know what? I just want to give another one to Cassano. Since when is he a pundit, Cassano? Donnarumma is behind with these 5 goaltenders in the world. Like,
Yeah, but he didn't name the 5 goaltenders.
No, he said Allison. He said Allison. He said Wilson. No, he mentioned goalies. But
sorry, I didn't see him mention it.
It's just like Cassano. It's like, you know what? Already I have you over here from your time in Milan. But again, who asked you, Cassano? I guess he likes to be on the tiki-taka or having some conversation.
Well, I would love to see those 5 goalers because I would agree or disagree. I didn't know. I thought he just said 5 and that's it. Look, if you want to call a spade, can he be in the top 5? I think he could be in the top 5. Can he also be outside? I'm not saying 12. Can he be 6? I also see Donnarumma can be 6.
Well, if you look at stats right now, he's number 1 in the world, just from the like, you know, the consecutive wins and without losing a game. But no, I get you from over there, maybe experience and but anyways, it's just Cassano. Do you have a feel good moment, Steve, a brioche of the week? Or
again, I'm gonna keep this brioche because it feels so good. It's the hate coming from everybody else. I love it. The hate coming from the Interisti. It's hate coming from the Juventini. It feels good, guys. You know what? We joke about the hate, but to be very honest, it feels good to be hated again because now we're starting to get into their heads mentally that, you know, even this game against on Wednesday, it's not a decider anymore. So the Juventini could say, hey, we beat you, Milan, we beat you. You're still going to be 7 points back with a game in hand.
I love it that, you know, even at work now, it's like, guys, sometimes you'll see them claim with a Juventus jersey, this and that, you know. And he was like, now that it's changed that conversation. Before, it's like, you know, you're going to start bickering with the guy. I mean, we're in fucking 12th place. I'm going to start bickering with you. Now you see these guys, Milan, man, they give you the face. You guys, you're not going to stay there in first place. And I'm like, I didn't ask you. But today I had this Haitian customer, and he's like, oh, you Milan? Yeah. He goes, I like Roma, but, you know, I like Milan, but fuck la Juventus. Fuck la Juventus. I go, merci beaucoup. But no, it's I like the hate. You know, we'll take it, Steve. We haven't had this kind of hate for the last 9-10 years. So yeah, we'll take it from Francis, from any of those snakes out there, from Juventinis, from anybody. Vince Gattuso, Roma / what was it again? No, not Lazio. It was Roma. Who else did he like?
Parma, Fiorentina.
That's it. Parma and Fiorentina. Guys, we will... no, we're not talking on Wednesday unless Steve... anyways, we have the schedule. Maybe I'll come on with the Patreons. But guys, Wednesday, 2:45. I got to record the game, Steve, just in case I miss it and I get stuck at work. We do have, reduced hours. But thank you so very much. Reaching 90 live viewers for the first time by ourselves. Appreciate it, guys. And Paul saying, Stevie, give us a prediction for Wednesday. You guys know me with predictions. I'm not doing any predictions.
I don't do predictions. I hate predictions.
We can't do predictions.
I just watch the game.
How about this? Your surprise man of the match.
I think, to be very honest, there's going to be no surprise, but the man of the match is probably going to be Gigio Donnarumma.
I like it. I'm going to go. This is 3 times in a row. Who's going to surprise us? Leao is going to surprise us once again. It's 3 times in a row that I do it, and it's 3 times in a row that he scores. So I'm going to continue going on that side. So, guys, thank you very much. And Steve, I cannot forget, right? We have the happy birthday to Dave once again, Milan Club Philly. And guys, we appreciate everything. Thank you to Patreon. Thank you to all our downloads or listens. Can't believe we have over 1,200 listeners. Steve is showing off the Milan Club Dublin. I thought you were going to show him Mutante Manscaped. No, that's
I'm wearing them underneath the desk.
Maybe you can wear them. Maybe you can wear them when you do the Jello in the kiddie pool.
Oh yes, for sure.
Guys, have yourselves a good night, and we'll talk to each other soon. Ciao.
Forza Milan! Forza Milan!
Fuck Juve.